Solomon, the ancient king of Israel, David's son, turned his heart from the Lord. Therefore, the Lord sought another instead of David and Solomon's line. One day, Jeroboam, an Ephraimite and a mighty man of valor, was walking down the road with the prophet Ahijah. When Ahijah caught the new coat that Jeroboam was wearing and tore it into 12 pieces. "Take thee 10 pieces, Ahijah said, for thus saith the Lord God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon and will give 10 tribes to thee. And thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and thou shalt be king over Israel. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I will command thee, I will be with thee and build thee a sure house." End of quote. What a promise for a simple Ephraimite. If only Jeroboam would keep the Lord's commandments, he would have his heart's desire and rule Israel and his family forever. Solomon learned of it and set out to kill Jeroboam, who was then forced into exile in Egypt. Well, after Solomon passed away, his son, Rehoboam, became the heir apparent and the king. Through a series of unwise political maneuvers, Rehoboam lost the confidence of the 10 northern tribes of Israel. In fact, they were downright disgusted with Solomon's son, and so they cried, "To your tents, O Israel! Now see to thine own house, David." And right then and right there, due to the foolishness of Rehoboam, Solomon's son, the nation of Israel was torn right down the middle. The 10 northern tribes rejected the royal house of David and turned instead to Jeroboam and made him king over all Israel, the 10 tribes, just as Ahijah had promised. And from that day forward, Israel was a divided nation. 10 tribes on the north, Judah on the south. Jeroboam, suddenly he had it all, and the 10-piece promise that it would be forever. However, there was one problem. The temple of God, this is just not my night. The temple was in Jerusalem. And if the people wanted to worship in the house of the Lord, they had to go all the way to Jerusalem to do it. And that's where the priests were at to offer sacrifices. They were down in Rehoboam's domain. The priests and the Levites were there with the temple in Jerusalem, and this most respected segment of society, of course, allied themselves with Rehoboam. And lastly, according to commandment, all of the great celebratory feasts of the law of Moses, well, were they? Where were they? Jerusalem. Jeroboam was troubled. If all the people went to Jerusalem, they would turn and side with Rehoboam, Solomon's son, and Jeroboam would lose his kingdom. He had to do something. And so this is what he did. To keep his people home, Jeroboam ordained his own priests, chosen from the lowest class of people, not even of the tribe of Levi. And worst of all, he crafted 2 golden calves, idols. "Behold thy gods, O Israel," he cried, "which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt." Idolatry. The one calf he set up in Bethel and the other in Dan. Jeroboam turned the hearts of the 10 northern tribes of Israel away from the one true God, Jehovah, creating a rift in the kingdom that was never healed. Until finally in 722, Assyria swept down from the north via the Via Maris and carried Ephraim and the 10 northern tribes of Israel into captivity, where they were scattered and lost down to the present day. A week ago, I stood at Tel Dan on the exact spot where that golden calf had once been. I could see it all in my mind's eye in those ruins. Powerful emotions swept over me and, I believe, my group. I felt sorrow. I felt betrayal. It was here on that spot that Ephraim, the boss tribe, and all Israel lost it. They lost their land, their faith, their sacred identity, the sacred covenant. And to this day, they remain largely a lost and scattered people. I took it personal because it was personal. Those ancients at that idolatrous, wicked spot were our grandfathers, who on that profane spot betrayed their covenants and their trust. And thus, we have now to be gathered, one of a family, two of a city, by the missionaries, one at a time, because of the choices of our ancient fathers and mothers. If you don't think your decisions now will affect future generations, think again.